Landing your dream job takes a lot of self-awareness, perseverance, and creativity. If you don't have tons of interview opportunities or job offers coming in with the position, pay, and benefits that you want, it's time to reassess your methodology. I'm Wilde, and this is how to land your dream job in just 6 easy steps. Okay, so I know a lot of people have seen a bunch of different tips on Google or other YouTubes, but this is my kind of updated 2021 how to land your dream job tips. So my first one, most important of course, is to make sure that your resume is flawless. I have personally seen a lot of coworkers or college friends whose resume were very just generalized, title, education, maybe like one sentence of their objective or opening statement, degrees, and maybe some volunteer work. So a couple of the things that I want to touch base on is number one, having a very strong opening statement. A lot of people will put on there, customer service representative looking to get into management at a company where I can build or bring to the table 10 years of experience and hands-on training. So one thing that I want to point out in your opening statement is to make sure that you are really taking that as like your very, very short elevator pitch, your way of trying to get the interviewer, the HR person, or the hiring manager's attention. So making sure that it's grabbing, it's engaging, and it makes them want to read more. The next thing is to make sure that you're only listing your relevant work experience. So I've seen a few resumes from friends who want me to help them ramp up their resume, or maybe some coworkers who are just trying to get into a management position, and they have work experience back from like high school or like freshman and sophomore year in college, and it has nothing to do with the position that they are applying for. For example, if I'm applying for a PR director position and I've been working for the past 12 years, but only 7 of those years were directly in PR and marketing, then I probably don't want to list my sales rep at Ross or waitress at Red Lobster on my relevant work experience page. That just takes up a whole lot of room on your resume, and you go from being a 1-page ideal resume to 2 and 3 pages long. Besides, that customer service experience being a waitress isn't really relevant or doesn't really help you try to get a director role in PR and marketing. So I would personally just leave it off. Next, use quantitative details. So yes, let's say you want to be a banking manager. So instead of adding things, those bullet points on your previous roles as managed a bank, counted money at the end of the day for closeout, you want to use quantitative details. You want to use numbers. So instead of oversaw, tellers and funds, you want to rephrase that as oversaw a team of 12 to 15 tellers, managing funds of $500,000 to $770,000 per day. That's way more impressive, and it speaks more to your job duties from previous roles that relate directly to the role that you're applying for. My next tip, which is very, very important and a lot of people neglect, kind of skip over because they're so tired of looking at this resume for hours, ready to start applying. They want to start, submitting their resume. Check your grammar and your spelling. That is one way, especially in the field of PR, marketing, communications, that will really, really hold you back from getting an interview or even getting your resume viewed. So go on Grammarly, go on to Hemingway, and make sure that your grammar and spelling is correct, accurate, and professional. Nothing turns off an interviewer or a job hiring team more than misspelling or misusing they, their, or their. Next tip, put bullet points for your previous jobs. Now, I've seen people use this in a variety of different ways. I've seen people just do like a summary, like summarizing their 5 years or 10 years at that company. It makes it hard to read. It looks way too wordy, and your interviewer or the hiring manager or the HR professional isn't gonna waste time trying to read that. I recommend anywhere from 5 to 7 bullet points per job, depending on how many years of work experience you have. You really want to try to keep it two pages and under. I know the old rule of thumb was 1 page, but if you're like me and you have various certifications and licenses and things of that manner, it's really hard to put all of those things on top of your skills, work experience, volunteer experience, and degrees on one sheet of paper. So making sure that you're just organizing your resume in a way that makes it easy to read, it's visually pleasing, and it seems very, very organized. All of those things speak to your professionalism. Next tip to landing your dream job is creating a flawless and capturing cover letter. So a cover letter used to just be kind of a way to introduce yourself to the hiring managers. That way they have interest in going on, so that way they have interest in looking at your resume. However, I've seen that when you use your cover letter to answer a lot of those initial questions or eliminate those initial concerns, you have a higher chance of getting your resume viewed. Here's an example. Let's say you had a 10-year career gap because life happened, you got married, you had kids, and you decided to stay home while your spouse worked to provide for the family. Use your cover letter as a way to explain why you had the career gap, why you're trying to get back into the workforce, and what skills are still relevant to the position you're applying for, or any work or volunteer work or courses or classes that you took during that career gap, how they relate and make you a strong candidate. Another thing is to use a cover letter to explain hopping around. Now, I know a lot of millennials, we are very, very set on avoiding toxic workplaces, or if there aren't good benefits or good time off, or if the hours are just like unheard of, we're quick to be like, hey, look, I've been here for 2 years, 3 years, I'm ready to go. So if you have a resume where you've hopped around, you've probably had 5 jobs in the past 6 years, 7 years, use your cover letter as a way to explain that. Not only because maybe you're hopping around because you're trying to find your niche, or you just don't know what industry you want to be in, or say you moved around a lot because you're military or married to a military service member, you need to put that in your cover letter so that way they're not too turned off by your resume to even bring you in and to figure out why you've been hopping around so much. Also, if you're someone like me who likes contract work, you're gonna hop around maybe every year, every 2 years. So it's very important in your cover letter to explain that. I'm a current contractor, so I take 6-month contracts at every single company that I work with, and I just keep on going and going, or 1 year, 2 year, whatever the case may be. My next tip to landing your dream job is to leverage the power of a strong social presence. We have so many online platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn. What is the new one now? The little like circle. What is it called? I can't even remember. But you need to leverage the power of social media. When you have your resume, especially in my industry, PR and marketing, I always add my social links. Never your personal social links. So if you've been tweeting about the recent debate or how mad you are about at Super Bowl, you probably don't want to add those social links to your resume. Always have a professional social media presence. So your LinkedIn, maybe your Facebook, or your professional Twitter that is linked directly to your Facebook, so the same tweets and posts go out at the same time. Always add those, and be sure to connect with people on those platforms. So in my undergraduate studies, my PR class was actually required to create a LinkedIn, and every single class we had to connect with every single student within the class. So by the time I graduated, I'm pretty sure I had over like 500 connections on LinkedIn, which looks really, really awesome to potential employers, because they see that you're connected, you're interested in networking with other professionals, you have a wide spread. And for someone in PR, it's also very attractive because they're like, oh, you know the CEO at this company, you know the CMO at this company, you know whoever. It makes you more appealing to potential employers. Another reason that social presence is so important is because on platforms like LinkedIn, you can leverage your connections. So every single time that you apply to a job, make sure to go to that LinkedIn page for that company or organization, follow them, and then try to connect with someone that's in upper management. And the reason I say that is because you want to show these people that you're not just pushing your resume out to 100 jobs every single day. You have a list of companies or organizations that you really, really want to work for. So you're going out of your way to connect with hiring managers, HR professionals, their talent acquisition recruiters or managers, as well as maybe the hiring manager for the department that you're trying to apply for. And when you do this, don't just send the generic LinkedIn connection message. Cater it to that person. Introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Olivia. I am currently a 10-year marketing director, and I noticed that we had a mutual connection because you went to UNT, so did I. I would love to connect with you. Please feel free to look around my portfolio or profile. I look forward to connecting and networking further. Sending a custom message like that really does set yourself apart from other applicants. Some people are just doing the generic loading up their resume. People aren't going out of their way to communicate and connect with decision makers at the companies and organizations they apply to. So make sure that you're doing that. It really does set you apart. My fourth step to landing your dream job is to follow up, and then follow up again, and then follow up again. And the reason I say this is because so many people, I have heard them tell me, yeah, you know, I called to check and see if they got my resume, but I don't want to keep calling because I don't want them to be annoyed, or so annoyed that they just throw my resume in the trash. Okay, look, I don't really think it works like that. I'm not an HR director, but I have literally called a company that I applied to every single week until they told me I'm either not going in for an interview or they scheduled an interview with me on the spot. And that's because for certain jobs that you're applying for, you're competing with dozens or maybe even hundreds of other applicants, well-qualified applicants, people that probably have way more work experience than you, people that have more degrees, or people have that have more certifications than you do. You need to set yourself apart. And I believe that by calling and being like, hey, it's Olivia again. I don't want to continue to disturb you. I'm just very eager about this position. I know this is where I want to work, so I want to continue to just show my interest and just make sure you guys are still hoping to hire soon. That is literally like a 2-minute conversation. And even though the hiring manager or the HR professional is gonna be like, yeah, we still have you, we'll let you know. Oh my gosh, you won't stop calling. It's still better to get your name up front. So when the time comes where they're going through resumes and deciding on who's getting an interview, when your name pops up, they're like, oh, that was Ashley who just would not stop calling up here. Let's really look at her background because she seemed really eager about this job. And again, it sets you apart. So that's very, very important. So don't be too shy or too intimidated to follow up. And that's by picking up the phone. That's by sending emails. That's by reaching out to people on social media. Anything that you need to do to get in front of the hiring manager so you can show them rather than just say that you're eager and excited about the position that you applied for. To kind of go off of what I just mentioned, step 5 is to get in person. There is nothing that says I want this job more than you taking maybe 30 minutes or an hour of your lunch break, going up to the office of the company or organization you want to work for, and having a printed out version of your resume and your business card with your social links, your portfolio link, your email, your phone number, and walking up to the HR department or the front desk and being like, hey, is the hiring manager for customers, is the customer service manager here? Is the marketing director here? Them coming downstairs and you just being like, hey, I know you have a busy day, but I really wanted to get face to face. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Liv and I'm applying for your marketing manager position. I wanted to personally drop this off for you. Again, tell you I'm very eager and interested and I hope to hear from you soon. Literally only a 2-minute conversation, but I kid you not, you've impressed that hiring manager and they're gonna go back and ask HR for your resume to see if, okay, this person's coming up, let's see what they bring to the table. And I don't doubt even in the least that won't set you apart even more than the steps you completed prior to this one. So my 6th step in landing your dream job is to, again, leverage your connections. Now, I know we talked about that in social media, asking your connections, connecting with them on LinkedIn and trying to expand your network, but also asking those connections to introduce you to the hiring managers. So if you go on LinkedIn and you see the 3rd connection, 2nd connection, 1st connection, if you have a 2nd connection to the hiring manager for the company or organization you have applied for, click that, see who that connection is, and it's probably gonna be someone from college, a previous job that where you guys both work and they left and now they work for that job. You wanna reach out to them and be like, hey, how have you been? I was recently looking for new jobs. I realized we have a mutual connection to Stacy, the PR director at Bank of America. I was wondering if you could introduce me so I could really get my foot in the door. It would mean the world to me. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. And that is a way to get in front of the hiring manager. So if the hiring manager is the 1st connection with Stacy and Stacy introduced you to the hiring manager of Bank of America, they're most likely going to be more willing to follow up with you or get face-to-face with you or just connect with you on social media, because they're like, all right, Stacey, what can you tell me about Liv? You know, she applied to this position. What do you think about her? You never know what the power of your connections can do. And not just on social media. Let's say your aunt or your uncle or your roommate, their father, cousin, sister, brother, whomever, works for a company that you have applied to. Link up with them, be like, hey, you know, do you think you can introduce me to them? Maybe we can all get coffee, make it a very casual, fun setting, and then talk business later. This is a good way to put your best foot forward personally and professionally. So if you go out to coffee, you guys can talk about sports, current events, you know, where you went to school, your hobbies, your family, your dog, whatever. And then towards the end, when everyone's kind of relaxed and in a really good mood, you can bring up, hey, you know, you work at Bank of America. I actually recently applied to a position. What can you tell me about what it's like working there? Okay, cool. You ask some more questions. Okay, awesome. Do you think you could connect me with so-and-so? Or do you guys have any events that maybe I can attend to kind of put me out front versus my like competitors or other applicants? Little movements like that really do set you apart. And I believe that being set apart in a application or interview process can mean the difference between hire and not. Landing your dream job does not have to be that difficult. You can get the pay that you want, the position that you want, and the location that you want. It all comes down to persistence, creativity, and self-awareness. So if you guys are in the middle of trying to land your dream job, just follow these quick and easy 6 steps, and I guarantee you'll have seen a drastic improvement in your previous methodology when it comes to interviewing, sending out applications, everything that has to do with the hire process. Don't forget to share this video, give me a thumbs up, and let me know what other tips you guys would bring to the table when it comes to landing your dream job. Was there something that I missed or something new that you would recommend? Just comment below, and don't forget to press that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.